Yeah, good morning, PASW staff, clients, friends, joining us for Thursday. We're almost done with the week. Tomorrow we get to see your film scoring results for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. Can't wait to show you that. It's going to be great. I mean, come on. How much fun was Count Basie, right? We had a lot of fun looking at the King of Swing and his 1 o'clock jump. Just so much fun. Then we looked at Strauss, another composer that created dance music just in a different country about 100 years earlier. But people were still having fun with this kind of music. People like fun. I hear fun's supposed to be fun. And then, Butch is coming tomorrow. So it's a little bit of LA time. I thought we'd go into the neighborhood of John Pazis a little bit, just because we should talk about where kind of the neighborhood that he lives in a little bit. He's not quite this neighborhood, but I'm just being a little silly. But we're going to look at another park, another lake that's important to the to the place that you love, I love, Lloyd loves, John loves, Megan, Bonnie loves, PASW loves, Los Angeles, the city that we all love and think about. So today we're going to be looking at Echo Park Lake. Okay, so this lake's been around since the 1860s. I mean, talking about it used to be used for drinking water. It was a reservoir. And then later as a park with canoes and fishing, and we'll get into that. But the earliest use was as a reservoir, and it wasn't called Echo Park Lake. It was called Reservoir Number 4. So it doesn't sound quite as good. Now Echo Park Lake sounds a little bit better, but Reservoir Number 4 in 1868, and so the company obtained the water by, how do you do it? You dig a ditch and sent water flowing from the LA River in the area known as Los Feliz. Yes, it is Los Feliz, but this Angelinos, we say Los Feliz. That's just what it is. Let's look at our map. This might be the earliest thing that we look at. This is a few years, 10, 20 years before MacArthur Park. MacArthur Park's kind of in the late 1880s, 1890. But if we go by 1868, I mean, this is a long time ago, way before people are starting to build things in Los Angeles. Because I think of 1929 is when buildings are arising. City Hall and all those things, and then the observatory in 1935. So it's like, LA sees a lot of progress just in the early 20th century. So I mean, why is it called Echo Park? Well, because of an echo, pretty much. A guy, Joseph Henry Tomlinson. He was the architect, and he was kind of he spearheaded this whole construction of, okay, let's do something with this lake. Let's make it. If we build something nice, people will come. And if we make it into like a nice little lake, people will come. So Tomlinson said that he heard workers speaking behind him, but when he turned to face them, he realized they were on the other side of the basin. So these echo things there was this natural echo. So hence Echo Park. So I don't know. I mean, you probably can't hear any echoes now, but that's what it was in the beginning. Probably because of all the hills and the sound bouncing off. So by 1895, the park and a boathouses were completed, and that's all well and good. But really, by the 1910s, movies come. Lest anyone think Hollywood was where they came. We've talked about this a little bit, but no, Hollywood was not the first place. It was Edendale. It was Echo Park. It was this area that they first came from the East Coast to do movies. So by the 1910s, movies are being in Glendale Boulevard. And the park was used extensively for filming because it was perfect. There were so many short silent comedy films being made in the park. They eventually said you have to stop filming your movies here because all the flowers are being trampled on. And if we think, that's also a very cool area because we talked about Doheny, the billionaire. 1892. This is when, in the area that Doheny and his partner Canfield discovered oil, right? Remember we looked at where they first discovered oil. This was right around kind of where the Bob Baker Marionette Theater is. So this was the start. I mean, Edendale, Los Feliz, Echo Park, this is really the start of the city. And they call this the West Side. It's funny, Echo Park Lake was called like West Los Angeles because it was west. But I mean, now it's completely east side, you know, in our minds, because the beach is west, but back then it wasn't. So oil's also there too. So we're getting things bubbling and rising over there. It's kind of exciting. So February 26th, 1892 is when the city officially names it Echo Park, the neighborhood. And from 1905 to 1935, the city was really booming. I mean, because now you have film industry coming in from the East Coast. Mostly Mack Sennett. I mean, he's the one that's really doing all the films there. And by 1920, it was really becoming a big attraction with Spanish-style cottages and apartments, and I mean, the architecture there, even today, is just still so beautiful. Now it's gentrified by white hipsters, and that's fine too. But we'll talk a little bit about what happened to it later. It's hard not mentioning the park without looking at that huge temple over there. What is, you guys have seen this, the Angelus Temple. This was first opened in 1923 for a woman. See, I mean, women did have some power back then. Amy Semple McPherson, she was super famous. I mean, she was like the Howard Stern. I mean, she had an audience and broadcasting. She was a genius at broadcasting, but she was an evangelical preacher who became a celebrity, and the Angelus Temple was built for her. It could hold about 5,400 people, but also she would broadcast to people in their radios, in the cars, and her Foursquare gospel was huge. Nothing ever lasts forever. So 1944, she dies at the age of 53, taking too many sleeping pills. She had had some scandals, as most, not most, I shouldn't say that, that's not fair, as many self-righteous evangelical preachers do. She was having an affair with a man, and instead of this affair becoming, known, she was just like, well, maybe I'll make myself disappear. So she did disappear for a while. I think a few days, maybe a few weeks or something like that, and there was this big hunt for her because they thought that she had died, but really she was up in Carmel with her friend, and she walked back and said, yes, I was kidnapped and all this stuff, and they pretty much realized that her story didn't check out, so she lost some credibility, and then she kind of went downhill. But that's what that gorgeous temple is right there. Now it's a Pentecostal church, so it's still being used for religious purposes. So by the 40s, I mean, families after the war, they're coming back, men are coming back, and they're now families can enjoy weekend picnics there at the park, take leisurely strolls. It fell into disrepair, just like MacArthur Park did, and went through some tough times. And but in 1995, the park's 100th anniversary, a lot of people got together and they focused on Echo Park, the needs of it and the public safety, and they started trying to protect it more and take better care of it. So, and then in 2006, there was a huge reversal. They put in a ton of money, like $40 million, to make it look better, to make it feel better, and it was declared a cultural historical monument. Now it's lovely, but of course, you know, a few things happened in the last few weeks about people with, you know, a lot with COVID and all these things. I won't get political, but a lot of people were forced to move, and there were protests about how can you displace people if there's not enough housing. So that's been going on in the year 2021, and just in the last few weeks and months, and it's just, there's no easy answer, and it's a very sad reality that's happening. So we'll hopefully just trust our leaders or people in the city to hopefully, you know, give some care and compassion to people that don't have housing. And just a few cool little clips. I thought, you know, Chinatown was filmed there, very famous movie, and something we'll look at sometime. You know, you can take a look at, this is 1974, but you know, the movie takes place much earlier.
Okay, pal, let's have us a big smile. You'll love it.
Then in 1932, the movie The Music Box features a very famous Laurel and Hardy scene of these guys trying to move a piano up, and this is just always a classic.
What? He don't want me! He wants the other monkey! You! Oh!
And yes, I filmed show business. We filmed show business there. This little scene right there that you're seeing, we wanted to see the beautiful lake and beautiful downtown behind it. And not that anyone's asking, but nobody knew we were filming this scene. We hid the camera, we had clip-on mics, and we did this long shot to capture the beauty of the lake. And all the people walking there and walking to, and they had no idea they were filmed. I'm not advocating that this is a good idea, but I'm saying that if you need something done, you just go out and do it. And so far, no lawsuits or complaints. But yes, we just sat the camera there and filmed our scene from show business there. It's such a beautiful park. I love it. I really do love it. As a little kid, I went in one of the little boats, and it was really fun. So I just thought I'd share a part of Echo Park, a part of old show business. I mean, this is where show business happened in Los Angeles. So hope you enjoyed that. And tomorrow's film scoring results for Butch Cassidy. Can't wait. Love you and miss you, and see you tomorrow. Bye.